Hello everyone out there. My name is Lankry. I'm the Rabbi from Kehilas Or Chaim, and I wish to share with everybody a beautiful insight on the mitzvah of Tzitzit, Talit. In the mitzvah of Talit, there are two possible blessings. There's the blessing of Al Mitzvah Tzitzit, and then there's the blessing of Litatef B'Tzitzit. Litatef B'Tzitzit means to wrap. The halacha tells us a very fascinating thing, that if we wish to make one blessing on both our outer garment, talit, the large talit, talit gadol, and to have in mind for the blessing of the inner garment of the talit katan, we can make one blessing. Which of the blessings? Lihitatef b'tzitzit, to wrap ourselves up with the tzitzit, which is fascinating because we would imagine that the preferred blessing should be al mitzvah tzitzit, the mitzvah of tzitzit. And here we're talking about the main blessing is the wrapping of the tzitzit and not the activity that's called al mitzvah tzitzit. And that's something I wish to explore, why this mitzvah is so unique. First of all, it has two blessings. And second of all, the blessing that doesn't express the mitzvah is the blessing that we use. Like, for example, lulav and esrog is a blessing that's being said about the lulav and esrog. Matzah, achilas, matzah. We don't have a blessing about, the baking of the matzah that pertains to matzah. We talk about the actual blessing. So when we talk about al mitzvah tzitzit, it's a secondary blessing to the wrapping alitatef b'tzitzit, and that needs to be clarified. Another fascinating point about the mitzvah of tzitzit is that we're supposed to wrap what's called atifa Ishmaelit. We learn how to wrap the talit the way the Ishmaelim, our cousins Ishmael or Islam, the way they wrap it, that's the way we do it. But isn't there like a classical Jewish rule that we don't learn anything from non-Jews? And all of a sudden, when it comes to the mitzvah of tzitzit, which is the mitzvah that is equivalent to all of 613 mitzvot, because tzadi yud is 100 tzadi yud and taf, plus the knots, plus the strings, comes out to 613. Therefore, we say the mitzvah of tzitzit is equivalent to all the mitzvot. So this most magnificent, powerful mitzvah, the way we wrap ourselves, and the main blessing is learned from our cousins Ishmael, which is something we need to ponder upon. Also, a very fascinating thing is, when we put on the talit and we wrap ourselves on, it has to be kidei hiluch dalid amot. We stay wrapped up, and I'll illustrate. Here you take the talit, you bring it into a position, you bring it over your head, and then you wrap it up like this, and then you throw it over your eyes, and you have to wait the equivalent time of walking 8 feet. Some people can walk faster, some people walk slower, but at the end of the day, that is the process, and the way we wrap our talit has to be weighted for the amount of times we stay wrapped up as if we were walking 8 feet. If it's 2-3 seconds or 5 seconds, depending on a person's ability, which is very fascinating, because when you put on tefillin, the second you tie the knot, you're done. Other mitzvot, the second you pick up the lulav, that second you shook it, you're done. You did the mitzvah. All of a sudden, when it comes to a talit, we have to wait the distance of going 8 feet. Also, there's a big discussion in the rabbis. As we wrap our talit Ishmaeli, we put it over our face, there's a debate. Do we cover our eyes? Do we not cover our eyes? What's the difference? We're just wrapping up the way the Ishmaelim do it. Let's just see how they do it. What is being said here? So I'd like to introduce the world to a concept called the laws of hugs. You want to give somebody a hug? There are rules that pertain to a hug. You go to the airport, you meet a friend they haven't seen in a long time, and all of a sudden you embrace him. The first thing you do is when you embrace somebody is you close your eyes. Because when you're being embraced or you're embracing somebody, you don't care where you are. Because at the moment of when you're being embraced, your heart, your mind, your body, you're really transfixed, you're somewhere else. That place may be the last time you saw the good events or the memories that you've had with your dear friend. it comes flashing back into you, and that's what this embracement does. So when you want to give a hug, you close your eyes. If you don't close your eyes, then you're really not there in the moment. If you give a hug and you're just bumping chests, you're not really there. The second thing is, you never give a hug for a split second. A hug takes time. It gets developed, and it's a whole sensation. Hashem is giving us a hug. Every day, every morning, we put on the talit, it's a hug. It's something that Hashem is giving us the opportunity to be embraced by His presence. And yes, it's the most fantastic mitzvah. It's like all of the 613 mitzvot, because it's so important that we should feel that Hashem is giving us a hug every day. And not just every day. Any opportunity that we have to do a special mitzvah. We're getting married, you wrap up the talit. You're doing a circumcision to your child, a brit milah, you wrap up the talit. Any opportunity to do a mitzvah, or even people that are studying Torah, they wrap themselves up in the talit. They want to feel that connection. So we understand why it has to have Kidei Hiluch Dal Ramot, why it has to be the distance of walking 8 feet. We got it, because when you're in a hug, it can't be a 2-second hug. It has to be something you really embrace. And your eyes close. But what is this Atifa Ishmaelit? Why are we learning this out from Ishmael, Islam, the father of Islam? And to this is a very fascinating thing that rabbis teach us, that the world is really broken down into 3. You had Abraham, had Ishmael, Yitzchak, and Esav. Right? Ishmael was a very passionate person. And in his passion, it had no boundaries. And therefore, no boundaries of passion could also have some negativity. Esav was exceptionally intellectual. And when you're exceptionally intellectual and intelligent, it has its limitations also, because you could internalize certain activities that could be negative for just this mere intelligence. A person is way too old, he doesn't contribute to society, time to dispatch him. Ishmael, with his passion and his love and his emotions, there are times that has negativities. Yisrael b'chayit pa'ah, Yaakov is bachir shba'avot, is because Yaakov creates the balance and the harmony between Ishmael and Esav to develop Israel. Yashar El, to go straight with Hashem. The result is that when Hashem tells us, put on the talit, I want you to know that it's an atifa Ishmaelit. And when I'm giving you a hug, it's not an intellectual hug, it's not a balanced hug. It's totally emotional and it's full of passion. Atifa Ishmaelit. Close your eyes. It should be a long hug. Every time we do a mitzvah, this is the way you put on a talit and you feel the warmth. It's so important to internalize this mitzvah, because if this is the way Hashem interacts with us, that every morning we start off our day with a hug. As parents, as a husband and wife, as educators, we need to internalize this message so that we share with our loved ones, our dear ones, and not to have, as they say, emotional constipation, and not want to share our emotions. Share it, give it, express it. Because the way Hashem mandated and established the Torah, that every day of our life we start off with a hug, that's what He gives us, that's what we need to share. We need to share the love, we need to share and express it, and not just say, okay, intellectually I think you're a very nice person, and no, feel it, close your eyes, embrace. And there's something very fascinating about the talit. It's always falling off. I don't care who you are, how it's always sliding down. And if you notice something very fascinating about a hug, it's always get the hug better and better. That's exactly the experience of a talit. Enjoy the mitzvah, share it with your friends. Thank you.